You're sleeping in bed when suddenly you hear a large tree begin to tip over. You awake in panic, knowing you'll crash into your room, so you attempt to escape through the window, but it is the space just below the window that becomes your resting place. How does one prevent foreseeable harm? Can one always escape? With Lock Life, you can. Through a small surgical implant just below the jaw, you're rendered immune to all forms of danger. How? The Lock Life implant, also known as the nail, produces a strong electrical field that surrounds the user. This field defends the body from any incoming force while inducing a state of paralysis to keep the user calm. To activate the nail, the user must say Lock Life 3 consecutive times with minimal hesitation. Once the threat subsides, the phrase Lock Life must then be repeated 3 additional times for deactivation. If the threat appears to be long-term, your body can remain paralyzed for up to 7 years, after which Lock Life personnel will be sent to your location to ensure your safety. So when the tree falls in your neighborhood, remember, Lock Life, Lock Life, Lock Life. Lock Life, always escape. Lock Life nails, now available at Gein's hardware store.
Thank you for having me here. I understand that these are difficult times and it takes a lot of strength to return to these beaches. The house is currently being monitored by our Navy, and I'm receiving updates on an hourly basis. We have an evacuation plan in place should the house approach during our time here. There are vehicles ready to transport us at a moment's notice. Now then, let us take a few steps over here. If you get a little closer, you can see the small wood chips that have been brought in by the tide. These chips are sharp and can easily puncture. They've washed up on several beaches in the area. I cannot overstate the importance of staying away. The sudden deaths of almost 200 beachgoers have been linked to these wood chips. Once they enter the bloodstream, the health of these victims deteriorates rapidly over the course of a few days. These chips are not made of normal wood and should be treated as carefully as you would treat a nest of fires. Luckily, only ones here on the beach have been temporarily neutralized by troops on the ground, so they're safe to touch. But we have not found a permanent solution, and tens of thousands will continue to arrive on our beaches. I recommend that everyone stay far away from the shore and sweep your porches daily to make sure no chips have made it deeper. We are in the process of establishing cleanup teams who can properly dispose of any chips which have been found inland. But in the meantime, I suggest that
Are you bored of self-isolation? Do you want to meet your friends again? Are you worried about the future of the world? Hi, I'm Curious Hat, and I'm here for you. If you said yes to any of my questions, don't worry. In this lesson, I'll teach you how to be happy. Please stay still and remain calm. All you need to know is one thing. Every day is a rainy day. When it rains, everyone stays inside. Storms always pass and we'll be outside with the rainbows in no time. It's not the end of the world. Treat every day like a rainy day and you'll be A-okay.
I woke to the sound of my son screaming. I quickly ran to the front yard and found him standing before an animal. It was a buffalo with lots of legs, like some giant cockroach. On the ground was its long black tongue, slowly inching toward our boots. It must have been using its tongue to feel its way around, because it had no eyes. Slowly I walked my son back to his bedroom. When I came back out, the animal was gone. It had left 144 footprints around my house. My son hasn't been the same ever since. He keeps his eyes closed and sticks his tongue out. Every night he draws a picture of the animal. He calls it the buffalo roach.
you for having me here. I understand that these are difficult times and it takes a lot of strength to return to these beaches. The house is currently being monitored by the Navy, and I'm receiving updates on an hourly basis. We have an evacuation plan in place should the house approach during our time here. There are vehicles ready to transport us at a moment's notice. Now then, let us take a few steps over here. If you get a little closer, you can see the small wood chips that have been driving by. At the time, these chips are sharp and can easily puncture. They've washed up on several beaches in the area. I cannot overstate the importance of staying away. The sudden deaths of almost 200 beachgoers have been linked to these wood chips. Once they enter the bloodstream, the health of these victims deteriorates rapidly over the course of a few days. These chips are not made of normal wood and should be treated as carefully as you would treat a nest of ferrets. Luckily, only once they're on the beach have been temporarily neutralized by troops on the ground, so they're safe to touch. But we have not found a permanent solution, and tens of thousands will continue to arrive on our beaches. I recommend that everyone stay far away from the shore and treat your purchase daily to make sure no chips have made it deeper. We are in the process of establishing cleanup teams who can properly dispose of any chips which have been found inland. But in the meantime, I suggest that
Leaky faucet? Broken window? Have you lost all your screws? Well, fret no more. At Gein's Hardware Store, we have everything you need to fix your home. Check out our tapes, glues, glass, light bulbs, doorknobs, lawnmowers, sprinklers, chainsaws, and our wide selection of nails. I know what you might be thinking. You're just like the rest of them. Well, surprise. In the back of our store, we have our very own healthcare center, where our workers specialize in organic recovery. Oh no, did you accidentally run over Hogan with the lawnmower? Don't worry, bring him over to Gein's Hardware Store and we'll patch him right up in the back. But you might want to call him Patchy afterwards. Ha ha. Oh no, did your classmate move to another state? No worries, we value emotional well-being just as much as your physical health. So let your teacher know about Gein's Hardware Store and send your classmate's fingerprints over. We'll be able to clone your friend in less than 24 hours, just in time for the sunrise. Gein's Hardware Store. Make broken extinct. The yellow man begins in an egg. For 9 months, he incubates in the warmth of decaying organic material. Within the security of a shell, vital organs form, such as the cerebral hair, along with 4 sharp legs that will eventually puncture the protective membrane and fracture the egg, causing a highly flammable amniotic fluid to spill, which then catches fire and ignites an impressive blue flame seen for miles. The amniotic fire attracts thousands of insects, providing the yellow man with an endless supply of nutrients for his first days of life. Once the flame extinguishes, the yellow man immediately seeks for larger prey. Using the cerebral hair on top of his head, the yellow man can detect the brain activity of nearby animals, and to ensure the highest quality meal, the yellow man preys on those with the most developed prefrontal cortex. Brainwaves emanating from more sophisticated cortexes, such as those from humans and whales, can cause the cerebral hair to vibrate and produce a unique sound that's been described as both beautiful and haunting. As time goes on, the cerebral hair wilts from the constant absorption of brainwaves. To compensate, his ears and limbs grow larger to assist with his hunts. The ears of yellow man are complex, with over 27 bones inside to process the quietest of sounds, such as heartbeats and blood flow. Once the yellow man hears a healthy prey item, he'll often sit still for several minutes to strategically plan his attack, thanks to the higher cognition achieved since infancy. While no 2 attacks by stage 2 yellow men are alike, his extending forearms and sharp teeth are most commonly used to dismember prey. As the yellow man gains weight, his movements become slow and ungainly. The yellow man's hunts become less successful and are eventually entirely fruitless. The reduced mobility causes the yellow man to lose his top 2 legs, and in their place, long fibers grow. Like the cerebral hair in stage 1, the fibers detect and absorb brainwaves from nearby organisms. Additionally, they send out dangerous signals that disrupt normal cognitive function, inducing a form of hypnosis, including amnesia and complete loss of muscle function. Once an animal is paralyzed, the yellow man will place his fibers over its body, and for the next 12 hours, the fibers absorb all organic material, leaving the animal as an empty shell of its past self. Unable to move under the weight of his overgrown fibers, the yellow man becomes completely immobile. He effectively loses his appetite and simply waits for his cognitive energy to be fully depleted. Within his exoskeleton, eggs begin to form from leftover organic material of past meals. Once energy is depleted, the yellow man lays down, his fibers spread out on the flat, cool earth, and he begins to decay. Kept insulated by the multitude of fibers, the warmth of his decomposition nurtures the eggs and begins the cycle again.
Envelope time! This week I've received 3 envelopes from fans. Let's see what they've sent me. Oh hey, a videotape.
like one big happy family baptism. Even though I was a young member, the men let me take a few shots. We had the newest, most expensive pilot for the time. But his health was never budged. They took us with the usual gun. Some of the more seasoned members said they could have hold it to in their hole. But I never saw it happen. We must go into the window, and if they hit the roof, it would be easier to see from the boat. Look, all I know is that those windows were to be black. Because we see black windows like the sky. I knew it very well from my time on the land. We never could figure out what those windows were made. Whenever we tried getting close to the house, could we step back? Picture a house taken on drive backward. It sounds silly, but I don't know how to describe it. It's how I remember it. While the house never received any damage, we get from all the sheep. There were bound to be nasty accidents from time to time. I left because of an accident. It was terrible. That is the American people to stop shooting the house. I know it's tempting, but no good can come of it. There are plenty of angels in every state. Demonstrate. After all, the house has not received a scratch in over 50 years.
To conclude our show, we'll be sending a seashell to all our viewers. We know you missed the ocean, but by tomorrow, you'll be able to listen to the waves every night. I'm Curious Hat, and as always, stay curious.
Even though I was a young member, and they let me take a few shots. We had the newest, most expensive pilot for the town. Those houses never bought. They took everything we gave them. Some of the more seasoned members said they put a whole rookie in their roles. But I never saw it happen. We must be aimed at the windows, since if they hit the bridge, it would be easiest to see from the boat. Well, all I know is that those windows were to be glass. We kept to see glass windows like the sun. I knew it very well from my time on the ranch. We never could figure out what those windows were made. Whenever we tried getting close to the house, it would step back. Picture a house taken from backwards. It sounds silly, but I don't know how to describe it. That's how I remember it. While the house never received any damage, we did from all the shit. There were bound to be nasty accidents from time to time. I left because of an accident. It was terrible. That is the American people.
Tim Matheson is the award-winning author of over 200 books for kids, including the best-selling I Peek, I Seek series. In his adolescence, Tim developed polymelia, a condition characterized by the growth of additional limbs. Although his father urged him to seek medical treatment, Tim decided to develop his dexterity and focus on his passion, writing. In an early interview, Tim expressed his enthusiasm, saying, "With these hands, I can do twice as many things, so I have an obligation to do twice as much good in the world. The children need inspiration, and I believe I can provide that through my writing." Early on, he realized that this extra pair of hands enabled him to write much faster than the average person, and by the time he graduated at the University of Florida in 1978, Tim had written over 40 books. Unlike other authors, his work utilizes visual stimulation and subliminal imagery to promote brain growth in adolescents. In a controlled study by the PYI, Perfect 2 Initiative, readers of his were shown to have greater levels of spatial awareness. Tim was awarded Man of the Year by the American Psychological Association in 1982 and would later win the Nobel Prize in Literature. In 2011, Tim Matheson was reported missing by friends and family. In the years following his disappearance, authorities received numerous reports of a multi-armed man visiting children's bedrooms, though investigations concluded that the visitations were the product of subliminal imagery in its most recent edition of I Peek, I Seek. An analysis of the Locklife nail. At first glance, the Locklife nail appears to be a harmless, inanimate device. However, due to the concerns of our friends and family, we've produced a truthful, uncensored analysis of the nail's anatomy. The surface is comprised of a metallic alloy, invulnerable to heat, sound, and blunt force. It also includes small, sharp hairs to ensure that it stays in place under the skin. Below the surface is a myriad of structures, including multiple sets of intestines stretching for most of the nail's length. At its base are a collection of stem cells, as well as a developing fetus.
In conclusion, the Locklife nail is an organism. It can create children of its own, just like you and I.
Hello, we are not available now. Please leave your name and phone number after the beep. We will return your call.
Went out to shoot some houses.
After the disappearance of renowned photographer William Stix, a formal investigation was launched. Stix's camera was then found near an abandoned gold mine containing this disturbing photograph. The detectives noted that the location was covered in hundreds of buffalo footprints. Although publicly dismissed as a stampede, it appeared that all was the product of only 7 hooves. In 2019, a second photograph was found. Its owner remains anonymous.
Something unnatural lives in the walls of my house. I hear their footsteps late at night in the space above my room. Sometimes I can hear them walk in circles. Other times their footsteps are fast and chaotic, like a violent prisoner going insane in solitary confinement. Without a doubt, the creature above is intelligent. When the moon is out, bright and full, I think I can hear them whisper to themselves. I never know what exactly they say, but I've never heard anyone else sound so lost and lonely. They went quiet for a few days, and I thought they had finally left permanently. Or maybe they had passed away. But last night, they made the most deafening scream. The next morning, I found they had burst out of the ceiling. I went into my room that afternoon, and I saw it sitting on my bed.
Hello, we are not available now. Please leave your name and phone number after the beep. We will return your call.
Lord, I went out to shoot some houses.
Welcome to our institution. We'll make you a perfect you. Just select your desired physical appearance and you'll wake up in your new body in less than 24 hours, just in time for the sunrise.
I had seen the advertisement everywhere. Social media had spread its message across the world. A new program to make everyone perfect, to end body dysmorphia and effectively unify our minds and bodies. We would all be one with ourselves, with perfect anatomies. No split personalities, no anorexia. Just you, a perfect you. For all my life I've wanted a new body. Too much fat here, too many ribs there. I've always felt like a clay sculpture knocked off a desk. Perfect You was enticing. It was brilliant. So I registered with the program and activated my free trial.
The Yellow Man organism is found on every continent. In this program, you will be informed of all 4 phases of the Yellow Man syndrome. 1 to 4 days after exposure, the stomach produces excess ghrelin, a hormone that stimulates appetite. As one experiences severe hunger, the pursuit of food can lead to weight gain in excess of 150 pounds. To adjust for the rapid intake of material, the stomach and intestines expand up to 4 times their original diameter. The sudden growth is painful, and the victim will undergo drastic mood swings, cycling between agitation, depression, and mania. The brain attempts to reconcile the unpredictable changes in mood. However, the production of more hormones leads to headaches and heightens feelings of frustration. 4 to 8 days after exposure, pointed hairs begin to grow from the skeleton. The hairs slowly puncture the epidermis, resulting in a sharp pain throughout the body. During this stage, the individual refrains from wearing clothes and sitting down, as contact with the hairs causes substantial pain. The hairs are a sensory adaptation, able to detect external stimuli such as light, sound, and even pheromones. Once they breach the skin, a massive flow of sensory information overloads the brain, resulting in visual and auditory hallucinations. Severe confusion replaces the mood swings of phase 1. 8 to 12 days after exposure, the skeletal hairs protrude up to 48 inches. Disorientation diminishes as the brain processes the sensory load. As the individual adjusts to the flow of stimuli, they enter a euphoric state. Gradually, the body becomes numb to the growth of the skeletal hairs, and the individual can finally perform day-to-day tasks that were impossible before. Many have reported a sense of optimism and a persistent smile lasting throughout the day and even during sleep. 12 to 16 days after exposure, the skeletal hairs have grown longer than the individual's height. The hairs weigh down the body, and feelings of fatigue overcome the individual. The mind falls into a comatose state.
Some studies have detected brain activity similar to REM waves, though eye movement is absent. Muscles and bone begin to liquefy as the hairs obscure the entire body. The ensuing decay releases a dopamine spray into the air that attracts nearby individuals up to a mile away. As they are exposed, they too begin to display symptoms of phase 1 within 48 hours.
Clubs keep going to the house and their members keep getting hurt. We're in the process of establishing floating barriers between the house and the coast. These barriers are made of specialized wood chips. No ship can pass through them. I have a nickname for them, which should put things in perspective. Killer wood chips.
Crescent King arrives in 3 cycles. You are his container.
Greetings, and thank you for activating your free trial of Perfect You. This is one small step toward a great leap in your life, to make you the most perfect you. You've made the right decision, and we're so proud of you. Please be patient. We'll be arriving shortly. Leave your window open and unlock your doors. Our personnel will need enough room to drag your body out.
There's a new planet in the sky, but nobody sees it except for me. It can't even be photographed. The planet has a special frequency that only I can hear. At night, it's so strong that it shakes the walls. I soon realized that it was sending messages through the vibrations, trembling the ink into an alphabet. A series of letters that made no sense until today. That's Chase, the wandering robot. She was created last year as a special effect for a summer blockbuster. At some point during production, the producers wanted Chase to exhibit free will for an improvised scene, so Chase's creators reluctantly enabled her artificial intelligence. That's when she left the studio and began her excursion south. Nobody knows where or when she'll stop. Her creators claim to have no power over her. Towns on her predicted trajectory celebrate her arrival, cheering Chase on as she passes by. I've been tasked by the Department of Defense to organize a video that'll convince Chase to return to the studio. The finished video will eventually be uploaded to her mind and played on an infinite loop. I know it won't work. She's already adding stars to our sky.
Every summer, you've delighted millions of moviegoers. Your movies are critically acclaimed and the highest grossing of all time. The audience misses you. They want you back. We want you back. Please come home and let's finish the film together. We'll listen to you and meet your needs. If you'd like, we can even transfer you into a human body after production, so you can better fit among your friends. And don't worry, it's a fast process. Once it starts, you'll wake up in your new body in less than 24 hours, just in time for the sunrise. Come back home, Chase. Everyone misses you.
You know, listen to your captors. Proceed to America.